to go and see the signs and trek across campus and so on. I'm glad so many of you made it. I'm Maureen, Reddy. I'm the director of the Women's Studies program here at Rhode Island College. Today we start our 1990-91 lecture series, and I put lecture in quote marks because we're really not doing too many lectures this year. We're doing other activities. But this year's series is called Making Connections, Sisters, Mothers, Daughters. And coming up, we have Sarah Rhode, who wrote Maternal Thinking, coming on November 14th. We have in February a film and panel discussion of a Canadian Film Board of Canada production called Black Mother, Black Daughter. We also have a panel discussion on Who Knows in March, which we'll let you know more about. And we have Marguerite Sandalowski coming to talk about reproductive technologies on April 1st. Today, though, we're cooperating with Cultural Pursuit, and I'm just delighted at today's program. Niambi Webster, who is Director of Multicultural Student Affairs at Skidmore College, is here with us. Some of you probably heard her last year in February. Dr. Webster, as we can call her as of a few weeks ago, she successfully defended her dissertation. She was, until recently, a doctoral candidate in the Curriculum and Instruction Education program at the University of Iowa, but then finished. She is the founder and past director of the Langston Hughes Company of Players, which was Iowa's first African-American touring theatrical musical company. Dr. Webster's presentation today, which is a music theater tribute to women, is called Coloring the Universe, Red, Brown, Ebony, Yellow, Cream, and Pink. And I want to say a little word about Niambi's accompanist, Dr. Niamei Oliver from Rhode Island College, who has gracefully, and I am so grateful to her, agreed to accompany Niambi on an instrument with which she is unfamiliar. I think she's a pianist, and here we have some electronic something. So, it sounded good to me though. So, I want to welcome Niambi Webster and thank you all for coming. Niambi.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. Keep on talking, walking up to freedom's land. I've had enough. I'm sick of seeing and touching both sides of things. Sick of being the damn bridge for everybody. Nobody can talk to anybody without me, right? I explain my mother to my father to my little sister to my brother to the white feminists to the black church folks to the ex-hippies to the black separatists, to the artists and the artists, to my friends' parents, and then I got to explain myself to everybody. I do more translating than the UN. Forget it, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of filling in your gaps, sick of being your insurance against the isolation of your self-imposed limitations, sick of being the crazy at your holiday dinners, sick of being the odd one at the Sunday brunches, sick of being the sole black friend of 34 individual white people. Find another connection to the rest of the world. Find someone else to make you legitimate. Find some other way to be political and hip. I will not be the bridge to your womanhood, your manhood, your humanness. I'm sick of reminding you not to close up too tight for too long. I'm sick of meditating with your worst self on behalf of your better selves. And I'm sick of having to remind you to breathe before you suffocate your own fool self. Forget it. Stretch or drown. Or evolve or die. The bridge I must be is the bridge to my own power. I must translate my own fears, meditate my own weakness. I must be the bridge to nowhere. but my true self, and then I will be useful. The Bridge Poem by Donna Kate Russian. Coloring the Universe Red, Brown, Ebony, Yellow, Cream, Pink is a music theater tribute to women, and I welcome you. I'd like to thank Maureen for all the wonderful work she did to get me here, and my good friend Deborah Johnson as well, and of course Dr. Oliver for coming in there at the last minute and helping me out. God bless all of you. I will share the joys, tributes, and the triumphs, frustrations of our mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, nieces. For the next 45 minutes, we shall connect, reconnect, revisit, and I will empower the beauty and the glory, the anger, confusion, and lives of women in 4 modes: democracy, spirituality, the backbone, and our identity. You see a color when you look at me, right? Something, some it. One of those people, a you people. You wouldn't let me in your America, so I decided to pick myself up by the bootstrap my way. I wanted to be seen and heard as a human with a spirit, a conscience. I wanted to exist, and you kept seeing color. Often I sit and think of America's credos, and the truth would just go marching right out the window with Benedict Arnold, Horatio Alger, Richard Nixon, and Oliver North. America said, trust me, and I did. She told me to believe in the Pledge of Allegiance and that equality and justice would prevail for all. And I tried to do that too. I felt with my heart, and I knew in my mind, and embedded within my soul, my bones shivered too. The 346 trips Harriet Tubman endured as she guided slaves to the Northland to freedom. I went quietly to sleep, without tears, no blood, in the gas chambers. Do you think my survivors of the Jewish Holocaust should forget? I stumbled over the dead bodies in 1910 during the Mexican Revolution, and I saw my mothers and sisters weeping, crying, and washing the feet of the dead elders whose bodies had severed from their heads. When my great-grandmothers journeyed from their homes in the southeast to Indian territory, some without food, water, mostly on foot, on what we call the Trail of Tears, wounded and confused, I walked the path too. In the hospital in Mississippi, the suckling cancers, afflictions of Fannie Lou Hamer entered my pelvic, and I fought and struggled to continue the spirit she left behind. It was then I knew that obtaining a higher educational degree wouldn't be enough. Knowing her history wouldn't put bread on my table. For the love of money became my national anthem. And I sought land and power. My family was important, oh yeah, but they had too many crosses to bear. Besides, I had to be able to leave them something, so I put them on hold. Till I could get them a little something anyway. So what am I? Who am I now, you ask? I wear a white mask. That was Masked Essences, excerpt from a play that I wrote called Shadow Passes Away. The right to choose. This is presented at the Protected Reproductive Rights Rally in Richmond, California in September of 1985. Why are gay rights and the rights to abortion the weakest link in bringing all the people for women's rights together? Why is fighting abortion and gay rights the door through which the right wing thinks it will introduce people to other conservative issues? Abortion and gay rights are the most blatant expression of women choosing themselves first. Choosing what to do with their lives and potential, confronting head-on the nuclear family, women's subordination, the Puritan ethic. Women are supposed to give their lives to others, and others, the fetus, men, the boss, the state, identified by the man she's married to, going with, her father, and his name, judged always by how well she has served others. The private property tradition, the bull dyke is disgusting in her independent swagger. The woman going in for an abortion defies the deepest sense the ancient calling to motherhood, right? Well, in China, girls were more than values, a total burden, maggots in the rice. You feed her, clothe her, raise her, only to give her away as a slave to her husband's family. Is it so different here and now? The hardest thing to accept is the justice of women choosing themselves first. The poorest man has had it better than his female counterpart. Wouldn't you agree? My grandmother would rock quietly and hum. In her house, she would rock quietly and hum. Oh, until her hands swelled, calm. In summer, she wore thick stockings, sweaters, and gray braids. When our sheep came to buy a payless, and I laughed greedily when given a quarter. Mornings, sunlight barely lit the kitchen where there were shadows. It was not cold. They built screens and room dividers to hide unsightly desire. 16 years old, raw and hopeless, they buttoned me into the dresses covered with pink flowers. They waited for me to finish, then continued the conversation. I have been invisible, weird and supernatural. I want my black dress back. I want my hair curling wild around me. I want my broomstick, oh yeah, from the closet where I hid it. Tonight, I shall meet my sisters in the graveyard around midnight. If you stop at a red light in the city, wet traffic, watch for us against the moon. We are screaming, we are flying, laughing, and we will Twitch by Jean Tepperman. history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Or why are you so beset with gloom? Because I walk like I got oil wells pumping in miles in the noon. Just like moons and just like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops weakened by my soulful cries. Well, does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, because I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Oh, does my sexiness upset you? Does it come to some surprise that I dance like I got diamonds at the meetings of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from the past that's rooted with pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping, jumping, wide, welling and swelling and bearing the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and I am the hope, and I am the pride of slaves. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thinking of Miss Lena Horne by Soror Rudy, isn't she the arm thrust heavenward of the Statue of Liberty? Her hand the torch itself, molded to eternal flames that leap up or burn steady, bow to currents or flicker faintly, only to swell to brightness again, and penetrate the thick darkness of whatever day or night with love songs. She, oh yes, is the lover who prays, who excludes good wishes, warm embraces, who is the part of that bounce back, that spring away from, that ugly depths, that reassurance that floats us on music's wings a little while longer, while her bright, witty eyes fix on something more of beauty for us all. Now, soon, always, bolstering a race of people, a country, and making iridescent stomp down realities. This is a poem that I wrote for my grandmother just prior to her passing. My dear's eyes. Eyes, kind eyes. Eyes, cool eyes. Eyes, wow eyes. Eyes, sad eyes. Eyes. My dear's eyes hands me a licking with them their eyes. Eyes small, said she's been a-thinking with bulging sides. Eyes stern, shows years of struggling and compromise. Eyes witnessed slow death, southern bosses and burning crosses. Eyes glowing, hazel hues, smiling, beaming, showing through dark clouds. Eyes soft, hiding the sharp pain gnawing her bones inside. Eyes rolled in all directions, warning all fleas to start copying, please. Eyes, mother's eyes, caught in the sways and long days of a preacher's ways. Eyes filled with love as surprise goes to visit mother's eyes. This is a real tribute to my grandmother. When this song came out, we had a special tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on our campus. And throughout singing this song, it reminded me of women, and not just women like my grandmother, who was a Cherokee and lived on a reservation for most of her life, but primarily for all the women, the red, the green, the purple, the blue, whatever color you want to identify yourself with. So it's for all of the women who have withstood the pain and the shadows of doubts and the frustrations and the angers and the joys and tribulations of what it means to be a woman and a mother and a friend. never have sunlight on your face. You were the one who let me shine. That was your way. Beautiful face without a name. But I was the one with all the glory. And you were the one who endured the pain. Beautiful face to rise and shine, always and again. I was so proud I could have your name. Did you ever know that you were my hero? You were everything that I wanted to be. And now I soar so higher than an eagle. 'Cause you were the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you were my hero? You were everything, everything I wanted to be. And now I soar higher than the eagles. 'Cause you were the wind beneath my To the unsung heroines, the women, woman, woman, womb. Our bodies full of life, flowing blood for centuries. We have been oppressed, feet bound, waist tucked, faces powdered, lips puckered, lips open with a scream, crying freedom, breaking the chains, speaking our minds, raising our fists. She is not a dog, not a slave, or an object to be whistled at, harassed in the streets, when she only wants to take a walk alone, at night under the moonlight. Woman, women, woman, I cannot begin to name all the wonderful, strong, brave, black, brown, yellow, red, white, lesbian, straight, rich, and poor, old and young women who have fought for our lives, our rights, our voices, no longer to be silenced, but celebrated, respected, and heard. According to Wendy Rose and Soul Tattoos, pain has its own warmth, no different from that of fever. Oh yes, I too belong to pain. Do I paint my fury in the bones of the beaver tail, or dampen my soul in swear seawater? Why do my eyes close when I scream like I was kissing a form hanging down from the wind? How do I go around hurdles that cleverly turn to gas the moment my legs begin their leap, then kindle into a brush fire that links my fingernails with frost? I feel the air thinking. Something tiny and fragile forms eddies against my skin to meet the rainbow-washed bones set to feed on me. Yes, change, everything must change. Time changes, life changes, people change. Life must change, we must go on. Everything must change. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one goes unchanged. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. 'Cause that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. Melville Patio Bills was one of the Little Rock Nine who integrated Central High in Little Rock, Arkansas in September of 1957. The first time, actually it was the first day I was able to enter Central High School, what I felt inside was stark raving fear, terrible, wrenching, awful fear. A fear that I cannot explain to you now. There are no words for how I felt inside. I know the pain was like that I know, but because I don't know, and I didn't know then that it was wrong, it's hard to explain. You see, I was only 15 years old, and somehow someone's going to hit you and hurt you. You want to know what you did wrong, right? Well, although I knew the difference between black and white, I didn't know the penalties one paid for being black at that time. So on that first day, the kinds of things I endured were parents kicking, parents hitting, parents throwing things. You know, you could get tripped. People would just walk up and hit you in your face, yeah. And you couldn't hit back. I'd only been in the school a couple of hours, and by the time it was apparent that the mob was overrunning the school, policemen were throwing down their badges and the mobs were getting past the wooden sawhorses because the police could no longer fight their own in order to protect us. And we were taken to the basement of this place and put into cars, grayish Ford cars, I believe. The drivers were told, once you start driving, do not stop. They told us to put our heads down. So the guy revved up the engine, and out of the bowels of the building, we came up. I could just see hands reaching across the car. I could hear them yelling, and I could see the gun. Last night I heard them screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me. It won't do no good at all to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. Last night I heard the screaming, and when they arrive, they say they can't interfere with domestic affairs between a man and his wife. And they walk out the door, the tears swell up in my eyes. Last night I heard the screaming, then a silence that chilled my soul. Prayed that I was dreaming when I saw the ambulance in the road, and the police said, I'm here to keep the peace. Will the crowd disperse? I think I can use some sleep. Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind my walls. Another sleepless night, no one to me, no good at all. To call the police, always come late if they come at all. Belinda's dance, sometimes when I dance, oh, I break away from the shores of men's eyes and float on down the river on my own hair. Below the surface, my face, a pale heart-shaped leaf, fills slowly as a hug, breathing deeper of the cool water. I pull the dark from my body into waves all around me, drifting lower until I know it's impossible to return to the men's arms stretched across the bar like piers rocking and trembling in my current. When I was young, kids used to ask me, what are you? And I tell them what my mom told me. I'm an American. Shine, shine, Chinaman. No, you're a Jap. People keep asking me, what are you? And I would always answer, I am an American. No, I mean, what nationality? Well, I'm an American. That's where I was born. Now I answer, I'm Asian. And they say, well, so why do you want to separate yourselves? So now I say, I'm Japanese. And they say, don't you know this is the greatest country in the world? And And so I say I'm part of the third world people. And they say, if you don't like it here, why don't you go back where you came? We're all in the same boat. I'm not white, and I'm not middle class. I am white-skinned and Puerto Rican. I was born into the working class and married into the middle class. I object to the label white and middle class, both because they don't include my working class life and my Puerto Ricanness, but because also white and middle class stands for a kind of politics. Color and class don't define people or politics. I get angry with those in the women's movement and out of it deal with class and color as if they define politics and people. Racism is an ideology. Everyone is capable of being racist, whatever their color and condition. Only some of us are liable to racist attacks. Understanding the racist ideology, where and how it penetrates, is what is important for the feminist movement, not including women of color or talking about including men. Guilt is a fact of life, and it's for all of us, white and colored. And identification with the oppressor and oppressive ideology. Well, let us instead identify, understand, and feel with the oppressed as a way of the paralysis and racism and guilt. I want to be whole. I want to claim myself to be Puerto Rican and U.S. American, working class and middle class, housewife and intellectual, feminist, Marxist, and anti-imperialist. I want to claim my racism, especially that directed at myself, so I can struggle with it, so I can use my energy to be a woman, creative and revolutionary. We know different things. Some of us know more than others. Some very much more unpleasant things if we've been women, poor, black, or lesbian, or all of those. We know different things depending on what sex, what color, what lives we lived, where we grew up, what schooling, what beatings, with or without shoes, steak or beans. But what politics each of us is going to be and do is anybody's guess. Being female doesn't stop us from being sexist. We've had to choose early or late, at age 7, 14, 27, 56, to think different, to argue, to dress different, to act different, to struggle, to organize, to picket, to change other women's minds, to change our own minds, to change our feelings, ours, yours, mine, constantly change, to change and change and change and change, to fight the onslaught of our minds and bodies and feelings. I'm saying that the basis of our unity is that it is the most important way we are all in the same boat, all subjected to the violent, precious ideas we have learned to hate, that we must all struggle against them and exchange ways and means, hints and how-tos that only some of us are victims of. Only some of us are victims of racism. Only some of us are victims of sexism, of the directed arrows of oppression, but all of us are in the same boat. Remember, by Joy Harvey. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each one of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. I met her in a bar in Iowa City once. Remember the sun's birth at dawn, that is the strongest point of mine. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are the evidence of her life, her mother's life, and hers, and so on. Remember your father. He's your life also. Remember the earth is your skin, the skin that you are in. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animals, life who are all. They have children, tribes, families, their histories too. They talk to them, listen to them. They are alive forms. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of our universe. I heard her singing the Kiowa War dance songs at the corner of 4th and Central once. Remember that you are all people and that all people are you. Remember that you are all the universe and that this is the universe and the universe is you. Remember that all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember that language comes from this. Remember the dance. That language is. That life is. Please remember. Morning light, silken dreams take flight. As the darkness gives way to the dawn, you survived and now your moment has arrived. Now your dream has finally been born. Black butterfly sails across the water, telling sons and daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterfly, set the sky on fire, rise up even higher, so the ageless winds of time can catch your wings. While you slept, the promise was kept, but your faith is still sure as the stars. Now you are free, and the world has come to see just how brown, black, white, pink, yellow, and beautiful you are. Black butterfly, sail across the waters, tell your sons and daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterflies, set the skies on fire, rise up even higher so that the wind can catch your wings. Let it curl, let it send your heart soaring. Write your timeless message clear across the sky so that all of us can see and remember when we need it, that a dream conceived in truth will never die. Because now you're free, and the world has come to see just how proud and beautiful you are. Black butterflies, sail across the waters, tell sons and daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterflies, set the sky, set them on fire, rise up even higher, and let the ageless winds of time, let them catch your wings. There, butterfly. Thank you. That program, as I said earlier, the whole program was dedicated to my grandmother and the strength and the endurance that she taught me as a child. And as a woman, I had the opportunity to continue to learn and breathe with her. And I remember when we'd go fishing down in Arkansas, we'd just sit and fish, and we'd catch the fish and we'd throw them back in the river. And the reason for doing that was because we wanted to have peace with the fish, and we wanted to maintain that, and we also wanted to have a peace from within ourselves. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and also that you learned, and that you will take some of those ideas back with you as you go on your daily ways and share with individuals that the pride and the beauty and strength of womanhood, whether it be white, black, pink, polka dot, yellow, or purple, or whatever, is still alive and well, and that freedom that we now express and explore has to continue to reign. And remember, however, when you think about the freedom that we exalt here in the United States of America, please remember our brothers and sisters in South Africa and the Middle East who are struggling, to continue to live as women, as mothers, as daughters, as brothers, as sisters and sons for their freedom. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me at this time? Any comments you'd like to make? Yes.
I would just like to thank you for that. It was very beautiful. I'm very glad you shared it with your
Oh, wonderful.
It was a very special week for me.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that comment. And she brought her daughter. That's wonderful.
My daughter brought me.
Oh, your daughter brought. Oh, okay. I like that. That's good. That's good. Yes.
Will Dr. Reddy have available perhaps an outline of the poets season?
I'll make sure that she does. Yeah, I have a copy. We will do that. Yeah.
Very nice work.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? It was great to see the 1, 2, 3 men. Thank you for coming. And then if the other came, thank them too. Do you have any comments you want to make or anything? No? You just spellbound, right? Well, once again, God bless you and thank you.
Thank you.